Hey there, and welcome to the RedVeil Security channel. This is where we walk through how RedVeil works and help you get comfortable using the platform. Just in case you didn't know, we also have an entire document section with lots of really good articles on how to get going with the platform. Just head over to the main site and click the docs link to check it out. In the previous video, we walked through creating a project and set up our own web application penetration test. We've run our penetration test, and now that it's complete, let's take a look at how to review and understand the findings that RedVeil discovered. Starting from the project overview page, you'll see the consolidated dashboard that summarizes the results of your test. Judging with how many findings our web application has, we're going to need to get a good amount of information to understand what problems we are dealing with. The severity distribution chart provides a visual breakdown of findings by severity. This makes it easy to understand how heavily weighted in each risk rating the findings were. Next to that, the hosts section shows the status of each target in scope. You can see which hosts haven't been started, are currently testing, or have been completed. The findings overview section shows the total number of issues discovered. Our penetration test discovered that there were 17 findings for our web application. Yikes! You can also see below in the network topology chart that those findings correspond to our target web application. Something to keep in mind is if multiple targets were in scope and each had separate findings, those findings would be noted for each specific target. Down below, you'll see the testing activity areas filled with all the different steps the pen tester took during the engagement. You can get the full details if you hover over an entry in the details section, or you can click the small arrow to the left of each activity entry to get an even more detailed view. However, if you want to see activity that occurred on a specific host in direct detail, there's no better place to look than the Host tab. To drill down further, select Hosts from the left navigation. This view shows detailed information for each host in scope. It's a great place to find what information the tester enumerated for each target. The Open Services and Ports section shows which services were discovered during testing, giving you visibility into the exposed attack surface. This area is able to be interacted with, so keep that in mind if you're looking to get a visualization of the present attack surface for each of your hosts. Just next to that is where each of our host entries reside. In a project that has multiple targets in scope, each target would be listed and have its own testing information. If you look at the top right, each host will also have the findings associated with it listed out by severity. These are specific to each host, so make sure you note that the numbers might be different from the findings list on the dashboard if multiple hosts had specific findings associated with them. The testing timeline provides a full record of all testing activity on the host. Each entry represents a specific test action that was executed. Selecting an entry displays additional detail about what was tested and how the evaluation was performed. For example, if we click on this entry for the Insecure Direct Object Reference Test, it shows the request's details. It will have the type of request listed, along with any commands that were run and the resulting output from those commands. If you click on the thinking arrow above the request type, you'll even get a view into the reasoning the tester used for the specific action you're inspecting. This helps give you insight into the penetration tester's mindset and why it's choosing to do the specific action. While there is a ton of information for us to go through in this section, we should probably check out the details on these findings. Let's select issues from the left navigation to check those out. The Issues tab is where we can view all findings in a sortable, filterable table. Each row includes the issue title, current status, affected host, and severity rating. The default row count per page is set to 10. But if you have more than 10 findings, you can always navigate by page or increase the number of row count below. When RedVeil identifies and validates a finding through exploitation, it documents these findings and provides a detailed title for each one. You may see multiple findings for a specific type of vulnerability, but you should take note that these findings will be specific to a certain area or feature of the vulnerable host. For instance, we have multiple CSRF vulnerabilities listed, but each CSRF is in a different part of our web application. This is by design so that you have the most detailed insight into what needs to be addressed and which area needs the addressing. To examine a finding in detail, select one of them from the list. Let's check out our most critical issue, the SQL injection authentication bypass. The detailed view includes a full description of the vulnerability and why it matters. The evidence section shows exactly how the issue was identified. This includes the commands executed during testing and the responses returned by the application. You can see the injection payload and the resulting response that confirmed the vulnerability. Scrolling down, the affected asset section identifies where the vulnerability exists within the application, and the impact section explains the potential consequences if the issue were exploited. The recommendations section provides clear guidance on how to remediate the vulnerability. Finally, the references section includes links to external resources, such as relevant CVE information, for additional context. You should check them out in case you want to do additional research on the specific vulnerability you're reviewing. One last helpful tip to note for this section. You can check the CVSS score for each vulnerability if you hover over the risk severity in the vulnerability. This also shows if you hover over each severity in the issues table. RedVeil calculates the CVSS score using the CVSS 3.1 score. This may change as the version of the CVSS calculations are updated. Now that we've covered these areas, you should have a good understanding of how to get the details for your completed penetration test. The Host tab contains all the detailed testing activity per host, while the Issues tab gives you all the details on each finding RedVeil discovered. We want to be sure you are armed with as much information as possible when it comes to your security. For additional walkthroughs and more content from us, you can check out the rest of the videos on this channel. See you in the next video!